Alright, Yuji is here, alongside Red is Sus. It's Mid-Pack, episode 11, it's your boys. How are we today, Red?
Doing well, thanks. Doing well.
Sweet. Right,
Yeah, some excellent chat on our
yeah, on the
EMG
Inviters.
Can Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a very good memeage going on there, I have to say.
Yeah.
Some very good stuff. But enough of memes. Well, actually, that is a good segue into memes. We have Rich Energy. Uh, Rich Energy, so William Story, of course, the Rich Energy CEO, has tweeted out this 2 days ago, which was looking forward to more of this very soon, dotting the I's and crossing the T's on Rich Energy F1 Renaissance premium British performance. So clearly, a bit before this, Rich Energy themselves had tweeted out they were looking to invest and potentially take over a Formula One team. If anyone's watched Drive to Survive, which I think it was season one. I can't remember if it was season one or season two. That whole Rich Energy fiasco, let's say, was let's call it a fiasco, happened, where Rich Energy was sponsoring the Haas team for half the season, and then all of a sudden pulled out, and now it looks like there was various conflicts, right? Well, various conversations about like why they pulled out. I think William's story said it's because Haas were not performing. Um, I think Haas replied it's because they weren't actually providing the money. So I think this. I don't know if this is actually an interesting story or not, or if this is just William Storing being a meme and trolling us. But I thought it was worth pointing out.
I think it's basically a troll at this point because I tend to believe that this company didn't have money more than Ass wasn't doing well enough, so he killed our sponsorship 3 races in or something. It seems a little bit strange. Yeah, so in my opinion, this is probably just him. It's either delusional or it's a troll. But either way, it's very funny. And I also like in this particular picture how he's cropped a shot where like he's obviously getting like lapped by the Red Bull, but
Yeah.
trying to find like a shot that makes it look like they're leading or at least ahead.
Yeah. It's not, you can't really, I suppose you can kind of see the Rich Energy logo just about here where my mouse is, just on the front end plate and sort of the on the top of the nose here. But other than that, you don't actually see, because you can quite clearly see that this is more Haas. So I don't know if this is, if I was him, I would not want to associate myself with Haas at the moment because Haas are the slowest car, unless he's trying to take over Haas. But who knows? I think it's more likely this is just a troll. This has got to be. I mean, watch us eat our words like 2 races in where, hey, it's the Haas are now the Rich Energy F1 team. I mean, if that happens.
Well, I just can't see that happening because like Nikita Mazepin's dad owns what was it? I can't remember the company name, but basically the main sponsor of Haas.
Yeah.
So I really doubt that Rich Energy are going to buy him out of that. So unless it's yeah, a couple of years down the line, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see what team they could potentially buy out at all. I mean, we don't even know how much if they have money. So
Yeah, I still think they don't have money, but that's my own personal opinion.
yeah. Right. Well, speaking of F1, let's briefly summarize what's going on we've been 2 races in now, and I think my prediction at the start of the season, where I'd say, "Oh, Mercedes are going to romp to victory," and it'll be a boring season, it has thankfully so far been proven wrong. Max Verstappen of Red Bull won at Imola. Hamilton did come second. Hamilton did actually have an impressive race considering his issues. Lando came third, and then Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz came for fifth. Daniel Ricciardo came sixth. Pierre Gasly came seventh, and Ocon came ninth, and Fernando Alonso claimed the final point position. I think Kimi actually came eighth, ninth or so, and then got a penalty and was pushed back down. So briefly on F1, there's actually quite a few stories and storylines going through to talk about here. One, like Mercedes not being as dominant as we expect them to be, a renaissance of Ferrari, Lando mixing it up with like the top three,
Yeah,
and Vettel's struggles at Aston Martin. Yeah, there's quite a few things to talk about here.
yeah, and the whole Bottas Russell thing.
Yeah, I was gonna leave that to end, but yeah, we might as well bring it up.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the whole
Jumped the
Bottas
gun.
Russell thing. So yeah, Russell, of course, in the Williams, tried to overtake Valtteri. I think it was I can't remember the lap number exactly, but
Oh, I have no idea.
yeah, it was. I think we both agree that it was Russell's fault, mainly because I think Bottas gave him enough room to overtake him. So I think it was mainly Russell's fault for putting a wheel on the grass and then crashing into Bottas. But what I think
Yeah.
what this has a more of effect on is Russell's chances at that second seat at Mercedes. Do we think this is going to have an impact on it?
I think yes, but not enough to change the actual result. I think this on its own is probably, you know, it's like a mark against him, in my opinion. But I think if like the rest of the season goes okay, he still is in prime position.
I
Um,
I
I think I think the one thing that is a slight sticking point for me is that it's his like attitude towards it at the time, and more kind of importantly, kind of
yes,
after
yes.
the fact. So I feel like at the time he was very angry and not, well, from an outside observer's point of view, I think not justifiably so. But in the moment, you can kind of like you can forgive them for being that way. What's interesting is that from the sources I've heard, he's kind of stuck to his guns a lot. Like even in the post-race interview, like quite a long time after the actual incident, where traditionally you see like a softening of words and things. Apparently, he's kind of stuck to his guns and he's still going on the same lines, which then that's the main sticking point for me. I think if he continues his attitude, then that might be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I agreed. I think that was my. I thought the crash itself was okay. Yeah, it's his fault, but it's happens. It was a racing. It was slightly his fault, but it was mostly a racing incident. That sometimes happens. I think that his attitude, especially when he like basically, I don't get the whole thing thumping a driver on the helmet. It's like, why would you ever want to try and hit someone's helmet? It's just like gonna hurt your hand, not him. I think that's just, it's always thought that was dumb. But yeah, that wasn't. I thought that was very unsporting. It's like, especially if a driver after a big crash hasn't got out yet, going up and like shouting at them is not really something you want to be doing. It's not a good look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like if it just so happened that like Bottas was knocked unconscious in the accident or something,
Yeah,
like that would have looked so bad.
because I think Bottas
Like
was
going up
actually
to swear it.
legitimately
Yeah,
winded and was taking his time to get out. So yeah,
yeah.
it's like as a driver, you should normally look out for your fellow drivers. It's not like it is a dangerous sport. So yeah, it wasn't a good look. I thought for Russell. I thought it undid all his like in the Bahrain Grand Prix when he stood in. Or was it Sakir Grand Prix? I remember. I forget which one it was. Last year, where he
It
stood
was
in
the
for Lewis.
short circuit one, whichever that one was called,
Yeah,
probably the Sakir one.
I think it
Yeah.
was the Sakir. Yeah. So when he stood in for Lewis, he did a phenomenal job and was like, yeah, he's going to take that second seat. I think this is definitely undid all of that good work he did there. Um, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether or not
There's
he.
also the more, sorry, yeah, there's also the more general point of like if Hamilton decides to not retire, then is it actually a good step for Mercedes to put Russell in the second car? Because he, well, on balance, you'd probably say he would be the faster driver out of Bottas and
And himself.
Russell,
Yeah.
but like, would Mercedes want this kind of like established veteran like going up against like upstart who's, not very experienced but kind of eager to prove himself?
Yeah, I think
I think.
that's
Mm.
a good point. And also, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think they did run of course Rosberg and Hamilton for quite a while, um, But I'd Oh, we have Sam in chat saying Russell's definitely not Mercedes' third choice now. No way to have completely after watching the race he did wiping up my team. Who would you suggest, Sam, as the third driver then? The
Sergio
only
Perez.
yes, Sergio Perez. Get just recruit him from Red Bull.
Yeah, just
Yeah. Speaking of Perez, actually, that's a good, nice to segue. He had a hard race in Imola. Like I think he finished 14th or so in the end. Um, he
I,
qualified well.
I,
Where did he?
yeah, he
He finished
qualified
11th.
second.
He qualified second. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I feel really sad for him because I feel like this was a really good opportunity to come second in the race, or at least come third, get a podium with Red Bull.
Yeah.
Um, and he kind of threw it away a couple of times, which is just the worst part of it, is what I'm trying to
Mm.
say. Like, okay, you can make one mistake in tricky conditions, but he kind of made
He
two
made two. Yeah.
big mistakes, and I was a bit like,
He didn't really recover
that's too
in the
much to
end.
recover from. Yeah.
And he didn't make
Um,
his way through the field as like Hamilton made obviously a big mistake when he was trying to chase down Verstappen, and then he still managed to claw his way back into second, which was a good drive. Um, Perez didn't
yeah, he
quite
was
do that.
helped by
He
the
was
red flag
helped by
situation.
exactly
Yeah,
true.
true. Once he got put back into position with the grid scrunched up again, he did get through the rest of the pack quite quick.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the other interesting story arc coming out of this race is Norris versus Ricardo.
Yeah,
Like,
and Norris had a phenomenal weekend. If he hadn't have made that mistake in qualifying, he would have been third lined up, and he would have been ahead of Max on the grid.
yeah,
So he
which
had
is
a
insane.
phenomenal qualifying, and then he comprehensively outdrove Ricciardo during the race, so basically forced team orders. Um, and McLaren were correct in their call to switch Norris and Ricciardo. And Norris drove phenomenally well, in fact, and was comfortably after the after Lewis and Max was comfortably the next fastest driver on the on the weekend. I
Yeah,
thought
it's
so.
very
Yeah,
impressive.
so it's interesting to see. Like so, Daniel's Ricciardo's rise to fame was, of course, beating Seb Vettel when he joined Red Bull just after Seb had done his four in a row, and everyone like took notice of this and was like, "Oh wow, that's this rookie." Well, it wasn't quite a rookie, but he was still a very inexperienced driver. Just beat four-time world champion. Then obviously Vettel left, Max came. Well, there was in between that there was Danny Kvyat, who Ricciardo obviously trounced. Max came was a bit more even. I think in Max's second season, Max did slightly gain the upper hand. I think some people did put that down to more Red Bull favouring Max over Daniel. Daniel then moved to Renault, and he had his first season was tricky, and in his second season he did outdrove Ocon completely. I don't know if this is what's happening at McLaren. Okay, he's having a struggle with his first season, not struggle, but like getting used to the car. But it's interesting to see that Norris is at the moment completely outshining him. And again, we're only two races in, but that's very comprehensively outdriving in both races.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say that on pure driver, I think they're quite similar and they're quite close. I think Ricardo just doesn't know the car well enough. Um, but yeah, it is a big gap though. It's a big gap.
I think it was almost a pit stop ahead in the end.
Mm.
So yeah, that is a big gap. And
Okay,
I would
I want to make a bold prediction. I reckon Vettel's gonna retire from F1 before the end of the season. He's
before the
just
end of
gonna
the
rage
season.
quit. He's just
Wow.
gonna rage quit.
I
Yeah,
think I mean a part of me agrees with you. I think he won't do it. I think he will. I don't. I think he'll keep going. I think his contract's for 3 years, so I think he'll go until his end of his contract, or maybe the year before. But I think he's done as a top level driver now. It's just when you're getting outperformed by Lance Stroll, that's not good.
yeah, he's completely done because I feel like he really needed this change to work for him, and I think he's been a bit unlucky because the Aston Martin is not as good as the Racing Point was relative last year, if that makes any sense.
No, yes,
So
the change in floor regulations has hurt Aston a bit,
yeah,
and it's hurt Mercedes a little bit as well because they had the same flaws.
yeah. So he's been a bit unlucky with the move, the timing, but regardless, he should be outperforming Stroll, and he's just not. I think he's a driver where like if he's not happy, he doesn't perform very well, and he's clearly not enjoying himself. So I reckon it's a bit of an out there prediction, but I genuinely think there's not as insignificant chance that he just like throws in the towel like 2 more races in. He's like, nah, had enough.
Possibly. I wouldn't say 2 more races in. I'd say if it keeps going like this, like let me have a look at the schedule. Uh, schedule. So we just did Italy. Say what? Next is Spain and Monaco. If we're having a look here, so I reckon if it's not the end of the season, I'd say it's more likely end of the season that he retire. Um, if where's Germany? Where's actually Germany? When is Germany? Is Germany not on the calendar
Is
this year?
there a Germany? Yeah, that's my next question.
That is surprising. There is no Germany. There's no Hockenheim or the Nürburgring this year. I didn't even realize that.
Uh,
Huh. Um. I would then. Okay. Maybe then. Oh, another comment. Vettel signed just to get the German fans who can't let go of the past and accept he's finished money in buying his new shirt and stuff. I mean, that's a reason why I can see. That's a reason why Aston would keep him and not replace him, simply because he brings in a lot of sponsorship money, and well, there's that. He even though they pay him, sponsors are gonna sponsor Aston because they've got a 4-time world champion driving for them. Uh, So that's one reason why Aston would keep Sebastian, and he almost certainly is better. Yeah, okay, maybe he's not as fast as Lance, but he's almost certainly better at helping set up the car because of his experience. So that'd be why Aston would want to keep him anyway. Whether or not Vettel's got his heart in it, he's clearly not like Kimi. Kimi's just like he's just in it for the fun, and Kimi still enjoys it at 40 years old and driving. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Okay, if it is midway through the season, I think he would. I think Italy will be a key race. Will be a key race
why?
because
He's not Ferrari
it's
anymore,
not
so
Ferrari
there's
anymore,
no
but
attachment with Italy.
It's Monza. Like Monza's still it is important for him because that's where he got his first victory. Remember, and with Alpha
Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso, yeah, I always said Alpha Tauri.
Yeah,
So I think it
yeah.
does. I
I think
think it
that's.
does have some meaning
Mm,
for him.
I agree. It has a meaning for him, but I don't think that's enough to. I think if he's not having fun, he's just gonna quit anyway. But whatever, whatever. It's a bit of a shout because, like, I would say balance of probability says that he's not. He's going to retire at the end of the season. But I just think that it's more likely than a. It's possible, and that's why I wanted to make the
Hmm.
prediction. But we'll see.
Yeah. Right. I think that covers most of the F1 storylines we've got. So I think it's on to some car news. So quite funny this week. This week has been all about vans. So let me get up the first van that we've got, which is the Toyota Pro Race Electric, or Pro Ace, I should say, not Pro Race. So this is the
Ah, damn.
Toyota's
Pro Race sounds pretty
Pro
good,
Race
actually.
sounds much better. I know. I wish it was Pro Race. It'd be so
Then they
ironic.
might get done for trade descriptions. Yeah.
Yeah, it
There's
was quite.
nothing pro or race about this.
So yeah, this is Toyota's e-van or electric van, as it were. So the it's a van. It's van shaped. I can't remember
It's
exactly.
very van
It's
shaped.
very van shaped. It's more van than the what's it called? The Transit. Really, it looks more transit than the Transit.
Yeah.
um, Let me get up some details of it. Okay, so both batteries contain, so it's two batteries contain 100 kilowatt DC rapid charging. Interesting. A range of 143 miles. 0 to 60 time of 13.1 seconds and a top speed of 81 mph. So yeah, not bad for electric vans. So honestly, I'm not too sure what else. Vans have not been my thing, but this is what this week has been. It's been vans. So actually, another van that I think is slightly more interesting than Toyota Pro Ace. So let's quickly move on to that. Is this the Stellantis hydrogen plug-in van? So as you can see, one I think that's pretty cool that they're actually making a hydrogen van. What do you think? Hydrogen vans, I think, sounds a bit more interesting to me than just a fully electric one.
Sorry, I kind of fell asleep.
That tells you how slow this news that this week has been in. This couple of weeks have been in car
Uh,
news.
hydrogen van sounds, yeah, I agree, more interesting than fully electric battery van, but just not enough hydrogen like stations to make it viable, in my opinion. Like, unless this is in like Japan, where I think they're a bit more into the hydrogen. I
Stellantis
don't
is a
think this is like
European
usable.
maker, so
Oh, okay. In that case, oh, we all know how the FCX Clarity did over here.
yeah,
So, yep. Nope.
has a slightly slower
How
top
much
speed.
power does? Yeah, how much power does this one
This one
have?
has 134 brake horsepower, a slightly slow. There's a 0 to 62 time of 15 seconds, and same top speed of
Oh,
81. Um,
oof.
I can't see. I suppose it doesn't, as it's a hybrid, it doesn't actually say what range it has. Um, oh, battery only running is possible up to 30 miles only, so that's not as good. But I
Hold
suppose
on. So it's got a battery as well as
it's
a
got a battery
hydrogen fuel cell.
as well as a hydrogen. Yeah, very interesting.
That
That's
seems
quite.
like quite a big battery. Like I can understand if you wanted some for temporary storage, like if
Yeah,
you wanted to regen some or something like that. But 30 miles worth of like battery capacity.
yeah. So it stores 4.4 kgs of liquid hydrogen under the cargo floor, with an additional 10.5 kilowatt battery housed under the seats. Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, not bad. And the final van we have today um, is the Mercedes EQT Concept. This is the only picture. So this is a concept van. So even fancier still. Um, it's all
I think
purpley
this is the
grey.
first time I've ever like seen a concept van in this kind of
It's very odd.
setting.
Yeah, it's like I, it's not what I'd pick as something to build a concept around a van. Um, it's not what you'd call sexy. So and yeah, I don't. Yeah, just that. It's just like odd, odd type of car to build a concept around.
Yeah, like that picture almost looks like SUV style rather than van.
It
Which I think
does.
would make more sense
Yeah,
if they're
exactly.
making like another electric SUV, then sure. But anyway, well, I'm kind of curious to see what this concept turns out to be in terms of like real life look compared to this picture.
Yeah.
Like how close can they
How
get it
close
to
to
the
be?
concept?
I mean, I reckon it's almost certainly going to be this because it just looks like it looks like a van. Well, it looks like a SUV slash van thing from this pic. So it
Yeah,
just
but they probably I'm scared that they'll look at it and think that grill looks cool, but actually it costs way too much money to put on a van. So
yeah, that's true.
nope.
The grill does look
And then
quite
those
wild.
lights, like LED lights,
Yeah.
nah, you need that on a van.
I actually just noticed the
So,
grill is the Mercedes Trident across all of it, isn't it? If you look closely.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
cool, nice
that's
touch.
quite nice to touch. Yeah, that won't make it into the full real life version. It'll just be dots or lines. Right. Okay. What we got to before we move on car news, we got to bring up something that's a little bit more interesting than vans. So let me go grab it. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Right. Something that is not a van is 812 Superfast from Ferrari. So this is the highest revving Ferrari ever. I think they did talk about this before. But sorry, Ferrari did say, "Hey, we're going to make this car," and now it is actually available. Um, technically, the name is still not decided. When I say that the 812 part is correct. The super fast bit is sort of the pro still like a project name, so it hasn't actually got a it's not, it's the 8112 something. We don't know what it is called yet, but it's colloquially called as the Superfast. So this is a 6.5 litre V12, 789 brake horsepower, revs up to 9,500 RPM. So then, as I said, the highest road revving Ferrari of all time. Um, it's a Ferrari.
Sorry, did you say V12?
Uh, yep, 6.5 litre V12 is what it is.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's okay.
yeah.
For a second, I was worried that it was like a V8 turbo.
Nope, V12.
Um,
6. Yeah,
V12,
yeah.
nice.
So
Yeah, it looks pretty
yeah,
good. The name, I really didn't like the name, Super Fast. At least call it Super Fast in
in
Italian.
Italian, we
Uh,
sound fancier.
although that might be taken, right? Because the Lamborghini has the SV, which is like Super
Oh yes,
Veloce or
yeah, true,
something,
true.
which I guess isn't super fast. Maybe it's like maybe like super speed, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, it looks okay.
Yeah, it
I
looks
don't
not
know
bad.
what is that bit that's like in the middle of the bonnet.
You go back.
Yeah, if you go back to the top view, first picture.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even notice this. What is that?
Yeah, it's almost like there's like a vent, but then they plugged it up or
Yeah,
something. I don't know, like with
that's
another
very odd.
piece.
I mean, these
It's
do look like vents here, like where my
yeah,
mouse is. This is like a kind of an opening, sort of.
yeah.
Mm,
It reminds me a little bit of the SF90, because that has like a weird, what it like a, I don't know how to describe it, but like a weird, almost like front wing above the front bonnet,
right.
or at least
Mm,
like yeah. So I think they're just trying to do something that's like a little bit different for like a styling choice, as it were.
yeah,
But not sure if I like it. Like
yeah.
a smooth bonnet would be nice as well.
Let's see if there's another view of it. Okay, okay. So this it looks more like a carbon fiber plate almost here.
Hmm. It's almost like body armor.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It looks kind of like what you do in like Need for Speed Underground or something, and then it just make your car look a bit crazier.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't add any performance,
Let's see.
but yeah.
Here we go. This is a good view of it.
Well, it wouldn't be the mid pack if we didn't say you like the steering wheel.
That's true. This steering wheel. Actually, there's only one. There's only one view of this steering wheel. It looks kind of generic, just normal Ferrari circular thing.
Uh,
Yeah, not as interesting as
that's a nay for me
it's a
then.
nay. It's a nay. Yeah, other than that, I think it's not bad. It's a decent looking Ferrari. That's quite cool. So
What
yeah,
do you
and
make of the color?
well, I'm not a fan of the yellow stripe. Yellow is not Ferrari. I know the crest is okay, the black horse on the yellow crest, but it's the yellow stripe just isn't for me. I'm fine with silver. Silver's okay. Um, Yellow just is not a Ferrari color.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with weirdly, I think I'd be okay with the whole car being yellow. Because yeah, I know it's not traditionally a Ferrari color, but they do often do like offer that color.
Yeah,
So it's not like completely out there. Even though obviously yellow is the Lamborghini color. Yeah, I don't know. Just interesting.
yeah. I
I don't
think
think
so.
silver's a very Ferrari color either.
No, but I think a solid. Just if it was all silver or all yellow, it would be better. I'm just not a fan of it. Especially on Ferraris, it just doesn't seem right when you have like a stripe running down it. Can see,
Mm,
I can see that like stripes on Mustangs or other muscle cars make sense. I think that they look cool on them, but on something like a Ferrari, stripe just looks even more ostentatious. It's just like,
yeah.
just no.
Yep, stripes on a 4GT look good as well.
Exactly, yeah, the stripes on the 4GT look awesome.
Yeah, I also don't like the orange stripes on the tires. I don't know
Same
why,
as
but think it's meant to look
It's
or look like F1.
yeah, it's meant to evoke
Um,
the F1 tire
yeah,
stripe colors.
it just doesn't
It
work.
doesn't work.
Take those lines off.
Yeah, yeah, they're too thin. The lines are just ugh. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the tire colors, the lines on the tire colors. But yeah, other than those, other than those, I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, so basically it's a very good looking card that you just need to make a couple of different choices on the colours and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just
It's quite
car. The
easy.
car is good looking. Just get rid of the stripes and lines that make it look bad. Right. Speaking of stripes, I think it's time to bring back car fights now. And this,
Yes, let's do it.
yes, because this week we have the cops versus robbers. We have the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard versus the Gran Torino from Starsky and Hutch. So I will be championing the Gran Torino this week, while Red will be championing the General Lee. Uh, I think the last two movie fights, the Ford Mustang from Bullitt defeated the Skyline from the Fast and Furious series, and then Herbie took the Battle of the Small Cars when it defeated the Mini Cooper. So,
Ooh.
yeah, I know. Surprise! It was massive upset. I was not expecting it. So anyone in chat, if you're watching, of course you can cast your vote for which car is better. I'm guessing because most of our audience is from Europe, that they're not going to be know as much about these two muscle cars. So it'll be down to us to try and win them over, I think. Um, so do you want to go first, or do you want me to take the Gran Torino first?
Why don't you go first this time?
I'll go first this time with the 1975 Ford Gran Torino. Let me get a bigger picture of it up here. There you go. So, from Starsky and Hutch, it is the 1975 Ford Gran Torino. Basically, both of these cars became more famous. Another reason we chose these cars for this fight is actually they're both from two very popular American TV shows, and the car became more popular than the actors themselves. The Gran Torino, I mean, the Gran Torino, a red Gran Torino with the white stripe, as you can see here, was very famous in the 70s and 80s because of Starsky and Hutch, and a lot of in American culture, it was just like, okay, yeah, you get a Gran Torino and you paint it in Starsky and Hutch colors. Uh, Interestingly, the stripe that we can see here, there are actually three different stripe designs for during this across the seasons. The very subtle changes. One was like the thickness on the stripe itself. So if you can see here, it kind of is quite thick at the back and then narrows to thin. Um, One of them was the curve at the back didn't actually go as far, so it looked less thick. Um, and the third type was the stripe didn't quite come as far; it stopped more midway at the start of the wheel arch. So you had three different stripes for the different seasons. And originally, the Gran Torino was not the car that was supposed to be in the show. The car at the time, the showrunners actually wanted a Camaro, which was going to be green and white. But Chevrolet, who do the Camaro, were actually having financial troubles at the time and couldn't provide the car. So Ford stepped in and actually offered the car as a cheaper alternative, or the Gran Torino as a cheaper alternative. Um, so both an interesting little fact and tidbit here is that the actors Paul Glazer, who played Starsky, and David Soul, who played Hutch, both hated this car. Glazer, who did the Starsky, he was the main driver, absolutely hated the handling, and Soul Hutch, basically whenever they did a turn, he would fall out the passenger side car, because it was so wobbly that he would just constantly fall out the seat and throw out the side. He complained about it so much, and they both hated the car a lot. So I don't know what that says about the Gran Torino car itself, but hey, both the actors hated the car. Um, Interesting. Only 10 stunt cars were ever used. They had two I forget the term. Halo cars. That's the word. They only had two Halo cars for filming, and then 10 stunt cars, which is um, not as much as you expect. Normally for TV, especially for TV shows, you expect a lot more stunt cars and maybe one or two Halo cars like you do get here. Um, this actually, the Starsky and Hutch Gran Torino actually did appear in an episode of Dukes of Hazzard. It appeared in the first ever Dukes of Hazzard episode. The General Lee actually outran the Gran Torino. Dukes of Hazzard did this to mock the rival TV program that's saying, "Hey, the Charger and the General Lee is faster than the Gran Torino from Starsky and Hutch." So that's I don't know. Maybe that will sway the argument. Who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
I feel like you've just won this for me.
Maybe I did have. Maybe I have what is for you.
Anyway,
And then finally, Ford created a limited edition of the Gran Torino and built 1,100 versions of this back in, I forget the date now, but they did it, and they all sold out in a week, showing the popularity of the Starsky and Hutch Gran Torino. And with that, I will hand over to you to talk about the General Lee. Let me pull up the picture of
yeah.
the General Lee.
So the General Lee is the iconic orange Dodge Charger with numbering on the side door and the Confederate flag on the roof. Yeah, so I think when you said it's cops versus robbers this week, I was like, well, everyone secretly likes the robbers. Like, like if you're watching a police chase on a TV show, you silently like rooting for the bad guys to get away, especially when the bad guys are like, you know, the main characters in the TV show you're following. So yeah, it's definitely the cooler side of the two. The car, as Yuji said, kind of became almost more popular than the characters. For one, I can't claim to be an expert on this, but I know the General Lee and I can recognize the General Lee. But I don't actually know the names of the people who drove it.
I don't
Um,
remember either, actually.
the Dukes, I guess, but who knows, right? So yeah, it's so famous that even people who haven't like no knowledge of the show know the car itself. Also, it was in every single episode apart from one, which basically shows how important to the TV show it was. They did lots of car chases and stunt sequences and things like that, which basically, meant they went through a lot of these. Some people working on the show claimed it was around 300, or like 250 or something they went through. So many, in fact, that they had to buy loads of loads of replacement from the public. Um, car, so like any other muscle car, the engine is massive and in the front. So in terms of weight distribution, not ideal for all of these stunts. For jumps, they had to put extra weight in the back to make it even remotely close to 50-50 and not land on its face. But this wouldn't always work, so I guess that contributed to why they went through so many of them. But despite that, it did break a TV record for the longest or highest jump. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely mine like a lot more than your 10 stunt cars for
I
the
think,
Gran
yeah,
Torino.
a lot more, over 300. I think, yeah, Dukes of Hazzard did run longer, I believe. It did prove to be a bit more of a popular show than Starsky and Hutch. So that may again sway who wins this as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you'll we'll give the audience a bit of time, or chat, I should say, a bit of time to vote. I think we'll obviously we'll vote as well because we're not as I don't think we're I think we do. I think both of us have a favourite on this one that we think as well that it should go through. So we'll kind of vote on this as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
chat. You have
Well,
how long should we give them?
I don't know, just a few minutes
Yeah,
maybe.
we'll give you a couple minutes to vote, and otherwise,
Whilst they're deciding,
yeah.
let's talk a little. Oh, actually, wait, no, that might skew the result. Let's wait.
Well, curious to see what we're going with that.
Not really. Seems like chat is not especially responsive today.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so what I was gonna say was without so if you just excluded the whole their stars of their respective TV shows element, Just on the car, which one do you prefer?
Charger,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I think the Charger is just a cooler car as well.
Yeah, this definitely is.
I also just think, so I'm going back to the TV shows. It's like it's more of a character. Like it's got a name that people know the name. Gran
Yeah,
Torino is
it doesn't have.
like
Yeah, that's the thing. The Gran
if
Torino
you're a
doesn't have
car
a
guy,
name. Yeah,
if you're a car guy, no, it's a Gran Torino. If you are not a car guy, it's just like the car from Starsky and Hutch, which is maybe not as strong a connection as generally.
yeah. I do feel like the General Lee. So I think the General Lee is taking this. So oh yeah, let's just hand it in. Hand it in now. The General Lee takes victory for this round, wins the battle of cops and robbers in America. So next fight is actually I think going to be a very interesting one. More back to Europe. We have Italy versus Ireland. We have the 250 California from oh no sorry from the Ferris Bueller's Day Off versus the Back to Future DeLorean, which I think is that's a interesting fight. I think it's going to be very see the 250 GT, sorry, not the California. Um, I think this is going to be a very interesting one because I think as cars, the 250 obviously takes it, but in terms of movies, in terms of how important they are to the movies, both are very important. Both are very important to the movies, but which one is more iconic and which one deserves to win? Well, you're going to have to tune in next time when we do it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to say anything because I have my own opinions on this, but tune in next time.
Yeah. And with that, I think it is. I think we've gone on. We've actually not run over as much this week, so that's good. Actually stuck to our schedule, sort of, almost.
No, not really.
Not
It's
really.
like 33% extra.
It's fine. We offer good value here in mid pack.
Yeah, 33% extra free every week.
There you go. Right.
Right.
And anything you want to anything we want to plug before we say our goodbyes?
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, here it is. Make sure you subscribe to EMG Clan to get notifications. Follow me at YouTube's here to get notifications of when we do the mid pack, and XCOM and Robots Evolved. Follow Dark Lord Samuel and Ancient Jedi for the Pokemon tournament back then. Jedi actually had a very good victory yesterday, which very well done to him. And Sam, I think he has his game today, so good luck to him this evening. And with that, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Yuji is no longer here.